Good day, everyone. So, here are the topics to discuss: ecosystem and biogeochemical cycle. The reporters are Aquino Mark Christian, Basbas Christine Ann, Gonzalez Jenny Rose, Paklibar Jomari, Pindot John Michael, and Provido Jessa May. Ecosystem.
Ecosystem is community of living biotic organisms, plants, animals, and microbes in conjunction with the non-living components abiotic of their environment, air, water, and mineral soil, interacting as a system. Ecosystems are controlled both by external factors, climate, the parent material which forms the soil topography, and the internal factors, decomposition, root, competition of shading, disturbance, succession of types of species.
Ecosystems make up the biosphere.
Earth is a planet on which life exists. It consists of components, lithosphere, land, hydrosphere, water, and atmosphere air. The life is supporting zone of the Earth, which atmosphere, hydrosphere, and lithosphere meet, interact, and make life possible, is also known as biosphere.
Next is the biogeochemical cycle.
What is biogeochemical cycle? Bio means life. Geo means earth. And chemical means elements. A cycling of nutrients, which is water, carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, phosphorus, sulfur, from the abiotic components of the ecosystem, water, air, soil, rock, through the biotic components, plants, animals, fungi, and bacteria.
Biogeochemical cycles describe the flow of essential elements from the environment through living organisms and back into the environment.
Energy flow. Uh, Living organisms require two things from the environment: energy to provide power and nutrients to provide substance. Energy flow is also called as calorific flow. The tropic, derived from the Greek word referring to food, level of the organism is position it occupies in a food chain. Based on the way of the get food, organisms are classified as producers, consumers, and decomposers. Producers are typically plants or algae that do not usually eat other organisms but pull nutrients from the soil or the oceans and manufacture their own food using photosynthesis power the solar energy. Higher up the power up chain, consumers are the animals which cannot manufacture their own food and need to consume their other organisms. And last, the decomposers break down dead plants and animals and their waste as energy and nutrients in the ecosystem for recycling.
Food web. The four level is heterotrophs, which is quaternary consumers or eat tertiary consumers. Second is the tertiary consumers, which eat secondary consumers. Third is secondary consumers or eat primary consumers. Fourth is the primary consumers or eat producers. And also the autotrophs, which is the producers or plants.
Nutrient cycles. Nutrient cycle is a movement and exchange of organic and organic matter back in the production of a living matter. Carbon cycle. Carbon cycle describes the movement of carbon within a main reservoir, atmosphere, hydrosphere, or oceans, lithosphere, and biosphere. Nitrogen cycle. The nitrogen cycle is process by which nitrogen is converted between the various chemical forms. Nitrogen is required to biosynthesis, basic building block of plants, animals, and other life forms. Important process in the nitrogen cycle are nitrification and denitrification.
This is the example of nitrogen cycle. Phosphorus cycle.
Phosphorus cycle. The phosphorus cycle describes the movement of phosphorus through the lithosphere, hydrosphere, and biosphere. Unlike many biogeochemical cycles, the atmosphere does not play a significant role in the movement of phosphorus because phosphorus does not enter the atmosphere and remains mostly as solid salts on land. So this is the phosphorus cycle.
So, this is the sulfur cycle. The sulfur cycle is similar to the nitrogen cycle in the microbial processes control which form of sulfur appears in the natural environment. The most oxidized form of sulfur is sulfate, which is the form most readily assimilated by plants to be reduced into organic sulfur. Sulfur is a key component in proteins, amino acid, and B vitamins of plants and animals. Once plants and animals die, bacteria turn organic sulfur into reduced sulfide and then into sulfate to complete the cycle. So this is the sulfur cycle. Eutrophication. Eutrophication came from the Greek eutrophia, which means adequate nutrition, is the ecosystem response to excess nutrients that stimulate excessive plant growth. The nutrients are mainly nitrates and phosphates, which are human caused. Examples are fertilizer, untreated sewage effluent, or natural or depositional environments.
Biodiversity is a degree of variation of life forms at all levels of biological systems. It is used to measure the health of ecosystem. Biodiversity in the result of 3.5 billion years of evolution.
A variety of species exist in all ecosystems. What are examples of biodiversity in our area? Plant biodiversity, insect biodiversity, animal biodiversity, fungi biodiversity, and bacteria biodiversity. Population density measures the number of individual organisms living in a defined space. Density dependent factors. Competition, food, habitat or space, water, sunlight, mating concerns relate to genetic mutations and the number of individuals competing for a mate. Spread of disease. Overcrowding increases the possibility of diseases being spread in a population. Predation. Overcrowding interferes with the natural predator or prey relationship in an ecosystem. Parasitism. Overcrowding increases the possibility of parasites being spread.
Urban sprawl. How may this affect water quality, surface and ground, habitats, soil quality, air quality, and noise pollution?
Impact of clear cutting. What are the impacts of biotic and abiotic factors? Preventing overharvesting. Hunting seasons. Laws or ownership. Laws against poaching. Size limitations. Limit on numbers. Organizations. License required. Size or types of nets. Specific places. Limits on gender. Wildlife reserves or natural parks. Tagging or monitoring programs.
The First Republic Act, which is Philippine Mining Act of 1995. All mineral resources in public and private lands within the territory and exclusive economic zone of the Republic of the Philippines are owned by the state. It shall be responsibility of the state to promote their rational exploration, development, utilization, and conservation through the combined efforts of government and the private sector in order to enhance national growth in a way that effectively safeguards the environment and protect the rights of affected communities.
Animal Welfare Act of 1998, Republic Act Number 8485. The act of to protect and promote the welfare of all animals in the Philippines by supervising and regulating the establishment and operations of all facilities utilized for breeding, maintaining, keeping, treating, and training of all animals either as objects of trade or as household pets. Pet animals shall be include bird. Any form of cruelty shall be penalized.
Philippine Clean Air Act of 1999, Republic Act Number 8749. The state shall promote and protect the global environment to attain sustainable development while recognizing the primary responsibility of local government units to deal with the environmental problems. The state recognizes that the responsibility of cleaning the habitat and environment is primarily area-based. The state also recognized the principle that polluters must pay. It is a comprehensive air quality management policy and program which aims to achieve and maintain healthy air for Filipinos. Its guiding principles are the following. Number 1. Promote and protect the global environment while recognizing the primary responsibility of local government units to deal with environmental problems. Next, recognize that the responsibility of cleaning the habitat and environment is primarily R-based. Number 3, recognize that a clean and healthy environment is for good of all and should therefore be the concern of all.
Ecological Solid Waste Management Act of 2000, Republic Act Number 9003. It is the segregation and collection of solid waste shall be conducted at the barangay level specifically for biodegradable, compostable, and reusable waste, provided that the collection of non-recyclable materials and special waste shall be the responsibility of the municipality of city in Section 10. PD 1181 or supplements a provision of PD 984, providing for the abat- abatement, control, and prevention of vehicular pollution and establishing the maximum allowance emission of specific air pollutants from all types of vehicle. Prohibits the discharge of oil, noxious liquid substances, and other harmful substances into the country's inland and territorial waters. PD 825 prohibits the improper disposal of garbage.
RA 6969, Toxic Substances and the Hazardous and Nuclear Waste Control Act, authorizes the DENR to establish a program to regulate, restrict, or prohibit the importation, manufacture, processing, sale, destruction, use, and disposal of chemical substances and mixture that present unreasonable risk and or injury to health or the environment. Philippine Clean Water Act 2004, also known as RA 9275, an act providing a comprehensive water quality management and for other purposes. Climate Change Act of 2009, also known as RA 9729, an act mainstreaming climate change into government policy formulation, establishing the framework strategy and program on climate change, creating for this purpose the Climate Change Commission and for the other purposes.
Food security. 1985 deals with preserving the natural environment for farmlands, also increases protection for wetlands, and encourages soil conservation on areas subject to high levels of erosion. Solid Waste Management Act 2001, also known as RA 9003, an act providing for an ecological solid waste management program, creating the necessary institutional mechanisms and incentives, declaring certain acts prohibited and providing penalties, appropriating funds therefore and for the other purposes. The end. Kapkun ka.
สวัสดีค่ะ